Good morning. I'm Cynthia Crane, and I serve in children's ministries. And this morning, I just invite you into my personal quiet time, which normally looks like me spending time in my journal. But I want you to know that in the morning when I first wake up, it feels a little bit more like this. It feels like this pile of blank puzzle pieces that all of a sudden I just sit there and I think, Lord, all of these things have to fit together somehow today, and I have no idea how. And in this time of, I would really like to go back to 6 or 8 months ago because I kind of understood the routine. In this time of unknown, I find that he still calls me to do the exact same thing that he did even back in college. He says, bring me your broken pieces and just admit to me what they are. And I say, okay, I have this one situation, Lord, that I am completely afraid of. And I also have this one area of pride that you must sand down. I need you to work in it. And Lord, there is this one aspect of a dear loved one's health that I want you to totally heal. Also, God, I want you to take away any kind of dissension. You know that one area of dissension? I want you to work on it. And you know those people that I know need help with their finances. They also need just a miracle. And you know what the miracle is, Lord. And I sit there and I bring him all the pieces and I write them down in the journal on the side of the page. And then I stack them up, and this is what it feels like. It feels like I say, okay, here you go. Now, how are you going to fix it? And I think the beauty of it is I know that it's not me that can fix it. And I know that even though that is a blank puzzle, so that didn't come in a box with a beautiful picture that shows you exactly where the pieces should fit, it's like real life. There is no big picture for us to see exactly how it's going to turn out. But there is a guide to show us exactly how to relate to it, how to pursue the peace and the contentment in the midst of it. See, the thing about my mentor is she would turn to God's word and it would speak to her about the current situation she was in. So even though I would like to turn back time 6 to 8 months and have 2020 be a complete do-over, instead, I'm looking at a story right now in the book of Ruth that shows me other people that would like a do-over. Ruth was newly married and was madly in love with her young husband, and he passes away. And then Naomi, her mother-in-law, not only lost her son, but she lost her husband and both sons. Now, all of a sudden, in the midst of her pain, she's looking at these two young daughter-in-laws who are looking up to her saying, now what? And Naomi, in the midst of the worst, and she is hurting and she is authentic, looks at both of them and says, listen, you guys can go back to your own homes. You don't have to stay with me. You owe me nothing. You can go back. And they both look at her and say, no, we want to stay with you. And she says, it might be really hard. It might be messy. It might be super uncomfortable. And then one of them says, well, okay, then I guess I would rather go back to my family. And Naomi lets her go. And the other one says, not me. I'm going to stay with you. Where you go, I'll go. Your people will be my people. And your God, my God. That's huge because in the midst of all that is going on, and as frustrated and angry and even bitter as Naomi is, her relationship with God is still so attractive that it is literally magnetic to Ruth. That's pretty huge when you consider that Ruth and Naomi head back to Naomi's hometown. And when they get there, some of Naomi's friends greet her and say, hey, Naomi. And Naomi says, don't call me Naomi. See, Naomi means pleasant. And I think of Naomi as this wonderful, wonderful gift of hospitality and fun to be around. And Naomi greets those friends and says, don't call me Naomi. Call me Mara, which means bitter. She's admitting up front, I am bitter right now. I do not like the way things have turned out. This is not what I had planned. We worked so hard to get to where we were, and everything is destroyed now because I no longer have my husband and my two sons. This this is not what I planned, so call me bitter. But whatever is in her, Ruth sees and says, I want your God. So there's something that we can see that obviously in the midst of all the muck, there's a peace in Naomi that is irresistible. That's pretty huge. And so I sit there and I think to myself, this is why my mentor always said, don't forget to drink of his living water. See, I have a piece of paper here and I have some paint, and I can sit there and I can say, okay, so Naomi's life turned out really good, but look, nothing happens because I haven't added water. Just add living water. And all of a sudden, you'll see that the story begins to unfold, and somehow God makes a masterpiece out of it. Soon, Ruth and Naomi's life completely begins to turn around, but not because Naomi knew exactly what puzzle pieces were going to be there. She had that same blank puzzle that I wake up with every morning, and so do you. But here's the difference. She took the broken pieces, and right where she was at, she would go to the living water and she would ask God, okay, what now? I do the same thing. And so I am not called to go and pick up wheat and look for the leftovers and hope that I have enough. I am called to serve as you are right here where there is an ocean that can speak to us every day. We can go walk by the ocean, and when you watch it stop, you cannot help but see that God stops that ocean right in its tracks. Anybody that could do that is big enough to take care of the little fears that I write on the pieces of the puzzle. And it's his word that reminds me, I called you to be right here and everything is going to be okay, because you know what? I'm still the one creating it. And I go, oh, how could I have missed that? You see, if you look at this story, Naomi doesn't know that Boaz is going to save them in the end. It happens little by little as God gives her one piece at a time. We do not know how 2020 and 2021 are going to look, but we do know this. We've got living water to drink from every single day. And even though my mentor is no longer with us, the total and complete legacy of the way that she taught me to dig into his word lives on, and I can delight in that through the worst of circumstances. And I pray that my kids and everyone else that I encounter will fall just in love with their personal quiet times as she made me. It's interesting, you guys, because where you go as St. Andrews, I'll go. Your people are my people, and your God is my God. We're in this together. This is really good stuff. Let's have a great day today and delight in what God is showing us.